It's me, Dr. KSD. I want to talk to you today about growing up in a home where there was no father. You see, that was me. I was raised by a single parent. But the crazy thing is, I never felt the absence of a father because my mom always took care of me. I never thought twice about not having a daddy in the house. I had everything I needed and everything that I wanted, but I realize now that it's because my mom always created an environment where she was going to take care of whatever I needed. She provided for all my needs and all my wants. She gave me a safe house to live in. I always had food on the table. My mother made it happen. There are a lot of women out there who feel like because the daddy is not in the house, they're not able to raise strong men or not able to raise their children at all because they're alone. Baby, let go of that fallacy. That is a lie. My mother raised me and she raised me well. I did not always get it right. I have made many mistakes in my lifetime, but so has everybody else. There is not a single thing that has happened in my life or any other child who was raised in a single parent home that has not happened just the same to children who were raised in two parent homes. And I mean white and black just the same. But there were some remarkable lessons that I learned from my mother. And I was just thinking about it since Father's Day was just on yesterday. How there's so many people who are grieved because there was no father in the home. And how so many people have fallen into the trap of believing that the only way to raise children who become pillars of society is by having a two-parent home. Now, listen, I am not against a two-parent home at all. I grew up in a single-parent home, and God gave me a desire to have a home with a mama and a daddy, and that's what I have. However, my first two children, I did not have a daddy in the house, or not for long. I divorced, not long after I got married, actually. But that did not stop me from raising my children. No time for woe is me. I had children to raise, and so do you. But my mother to me is the best example of a single parent doing what needs to be done to raise her child. And I want to share three of the greatest points that I remember because I think that it can be very helpful for you. We live in a society where people are quick to label you. They're quick to decide your fate, and they are so quick to determine what will happen to you based on your current circumstance. Baby, your circumstances should not determine your fate. You and you alone determine your fate. And so these 3 points I want to make to you, please listen closely. Stop being a victim of society. Stop being in bondage because of the negative inherited mindsets of other people. And stop keeping yourself from living life to the best of your ability, to your fullest potential, because of society and tired old traditions. So, point number one that I learned from my mama is know your worth. Your worth is not determined by who your mama is, who your daddy is, the environment you grew up in, nor your circumstances. Your worth is determined by you and you alone. Your morals, your ethics, your integrity, the principles that you stand on. Do you realize that there are so many successful people in this world today who were raised by single parents? I mean, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Halle Berry, Eddie Murphy, Eva Mendes, Alicia Keys. All of those folks were raised by single parents. They did remarkably well. Baby, I'm sorry, I missed somebody. Dr. Kimberly Smith Dotrieve. Point number two, with a strong support system, baby, you can do anything. A lot of times we get caught up with not having a daddy or not having a mama or not being rich or not having things when really and truly You just need a good support system to push you to be the best version of yourself that you can be. God created each and every one of us for a purpose. With a good support system, you can be reminded day after day that you are great, that you are worthy, that God created you for a purpose to impact lives. Somebody to push you to your next level. You see, let me tell you this story. When I had just recently graduated from college, I found out I was pregnant. I thought all of my hopes and dreams of being a doctor were shot to hell. And I gave up. But my mother came back and said, "Baby, what happened to medical school?" And I told her, "I don't think I can go to medical school with a child." She said, "You apply, you get in, and I will take an early retirement." And that's exactly what she did. And if it was not because of my mama, I would not be the doctor that I am today. And that's another thing. When she found out I was pregnant, I'm sure she wasn't elated, but what she did tell me was, "Baby, you were not the first and you will not be the last. I got your back." My mother encouraged me to be the best that I can be. So with a great support system, you can do anything. So every single parent out there, you don't need to have a father in the home for you to encourage your children to be the best that they can be, for you to raise your children to be the best that they can be. Because with your love and support, they can do anything. You just need to give the love and support. And thirdly, my mother taught me that my pain should push me into my purpose. You see, my mother was diagnosed with cancer the last year of her life. And in spite of the cancer, in spite of the fact that chemotherapy weakened her, that it had her to the point that she could not get out the bed, but I ended up having a complication. I ended up on bed rest. And you know what happened? She turned her pain into her power. And because I needed her, baby, she went from one day being in that bed too weak to get up and get her own food to finding out I needed to be on bed rest. And then the next morning, this same woman waltzed into my room with breakfast for me because she knew I needed her. Don't let your past, don't let your pain, don't let your hurts and your losses stop you from being the best version of yourself that you can be. You were created for a reason. I don't care who is in your life and who is not in your life, as long as you believe in you. That is all you need. You need to cling to the fact that God created you for a purpose to impact lives across this globe, not just locally, but across the globe.